It was a very conscious choice to have wall-to-wall music in the show because that is essentially the style of stories that we're telling, kind of 40s romantic comedy.
Brian Fuller, our writer, has created the music in such a way that it literally comes out of a scene. It's also most of the time interrupted with a little bit of dialogue. So it is like a scene. It doesn't feel like all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, da 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 da.
The musical choices that we've used in the show, like, you know, for instance, in season 2, we're doing Eternal Flame by the Bangles.
After we finished our last season, Brian said, "Are there any songs that you see Olive singing?" And I said, yeah. And so in New York, I went and rented a studio and got my pianist, and one of them was Eternal Flame.
We wrote in a plot device to that episode, so somebody had sabotaged their ovens and the heat was cranked up and they couldn't get the flame to go off, so the eternal flame of the oven kind of transitioned to Olive's eternal flame for Ned, and we just kind of like wove it into the tapestry very tightly.
We had a great composer on Pushing Daisies, a man named Jim Dooley, who won the Emmy Award this year for doing the music to Pushing Daisies.
Jim would have a lot of fun on each different episode to take a theme that perhaps we've heard, but to change it in a particular way that fits with the world that we've created for that episode.
Dun, 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 dun. Ready? You guys? Cool. One more time from the top, please.
As far as the style for the music goes, we're inspired from across the board, all different sorts of musical styles. Film scores, you name any place where we can really kind of borrow something from. We're taking it to incorporate it into an adult fantasy world. In Window Dress to Kill, this is a murder mystery based on other movies that have done similar things, but like to tell it in our new fantasy world way. The spotting session is really a time for us to explore ideas, to kind of make mistakes a bit, to see where things can go.
As far as like a musical style for this episode, I think there's a bit of Andrews Sisters in it with the Dickers department store, and maybe you could do like a Dickers jingle of some kind.
Dickers department store. Dickers, come in and take a tour of Dickers department store, 'cause we have all you want and more.
Each episode begins the same way. Brian and I sit down and I watch for the first time, and I begin digging myself a musical hole, as I call it, because I start making this promise session goes on where he says, can you do this score with this and take this idea and put these things together? So after my promise session, I go back to work going like, I don't know if I can do this. But at the spotting session, we watch the opening of the show and Brian will say, okay, this is where I started from.
This should all be very Esquivel-y, swing, 50s sort of keep.
We daisify everything from every score and every movie idea and then bring it into our world.
Her superhero theme as the sidekick Avenger. So her Wonder Woman theme, and if it has a little Andrew sister vocalization.
Okay, that'd be good. That's more, I think, along like the Wonder Woman, Linda Carter Wonder Woman. This is like cooking in a lot of ways. If you're cooking and you overspice something with heat, you can't take the heat out. You have to add sweet. And that's how you balance that out. And that's essentially kind of what we're doing. That's being, you know, the Mr. Sandman kind of thing.
Which I think it also applies.
Well, we get all our really good ideas from watching it the first time and then feeding off each other.
I'll say things that are very random and not necessarily completely thought through, and then he'll pick up the thought midstream and finish it for me. So it really is a fantastic collaboration on that front. With Jim, he's very conscious of what has been done and what is out there in terms of film music, and he's very conscious of how he's going to make it his own, and that's always the delight of setting in these sound spotting sessions, because like, what about this kind of instrument for Randy Man in this scene, and how do we take that and kind of turn it upside down?
So I think we're more 12
Monkeys with Randy Man.
Yeah, or is it more that the psychotic?
The accordion.
Yeah.
No, I think we're moving into sexy accordion.
Ooh, that's really great. I can, yeah.
Randy, Olive, did you hit him? Did she hit you?
No, he hit me.
One of the many fun things about working with Jim Dooley is that there is this kind of film music geek shorthand where we're constantly referencing either composers or movies or tones.
We've been giving each other homework. I've had to probably watch a dozen movies or so.
So I think then, like, you know, we're in this sad goodbye.
One of the bigger challenges about incorporating these kind of allusions to other movies and other styles of music is to, you know, to do it in our kind of voice, which is funny because when I work with the editors, they'll temp in some music, and we've tried it, that almost inevitably it has to be stuff from the show for the music to work. Even stuff from other episodes that we'll put in, it's like, well, this isn't really quite right. It's reacting to every part of each character's movement. It's like scoring animation in a way.
Denny is a suspected killer, so let's play him as such.
Okay.
And we should also be playing a little menace on Coco as a potential killer as well.
Denny, did you kill Aaron?
No, Coco.
Neither did I.
Obviously, there's a murder in every episode, so we have to mislead who the killer is. It's like, I guess if you really wanted to, that's how you know who the killer is. It's like whoever is not played as the killer is probably the killer.
It would be great to like take their theme and make it holiday like you did with Corpse Sickle.
Everybody has their theme, essentially. And when those interactions come, then those themes get interacted as well.
So now we can have like a little Olive's theme.
According to her parents' testimony, young Olive Snook had been stolen away in a stolen vehicle by dangerous car thieves and kidnappers.
It was really Brian's idea from the beginning to incorporate the themes into instrumental-specific themes.
So with Olive, it's a saxophone, and with Emerson Codd, he has this kind of like crime jazz motif.
Emerson, it's usually the acoustic bass with finger snaps. That's his world. And then like Olive will come into the scene, that stuff comes out saxophone with strings maybe.
Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once.
And so everything is so character specific that even when you can reference a character in dialogue who may not be in that scene and we hit a little bit of that character's theme, they just have much more presence in, whether they're on screen or off screen, they're very present because of Jim Dooley's score. To have actual instruments being played on a soundtrack, and especially the quality of these instruments. So thank you all for playing them so well and being part of Pushing Daisies.
Thank you all very much.
I think that his work is as good as anything you hear in a feature film today. He's really a genius, and as opposed to a film composer who might do a couple movies a year, this guy is doing music-heavy episodes every 8 days, and that's pretty remarkable.